Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. WWE WrestleMania 41 is now in the books. The controversial weekend featured many highs, some lows, and nearly constant intrigue. To say fans have been talking about the two-night premium live event a lot would be a massive understatement. There were several matches throughout NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania Saturday, and WrestleMania Sunday that could be deemed the match of the weekend. One that arguably stole the show was Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City Street fight. The two powerhouses went to war, using tables and steel chairs to beat down and batter each other. The hard-fought bout was extremely entertaining, but in the end, Drew McIntyre managed to win following a claymore into a steel chair. This loss has to be frustrating for the Archer of Infamy, but now it is time for a reset. With WrestleMania over, what might Priest do? This article will take a look at a handful of directions for Damian following his tough loss at the Show of Shows. Damian Priest turned heel and later joined the Judgment Day in 2022. He then spent the next 2 years in WWE as one of the top villains in the promotion. However, things changed last summer. The Archer of Infamy started to show signs of change. Fans began to rally behind him, and he acted more like a babyface. Then, Finn Balor betrayed him and kicked him out of the Judgment Day, thus cementing Damian as a good guy. Now that he has lost to Drew, however, a heel turn could be the answer. Damian snapping on someone, perhaps R-Truth, and turning heel could reshape his career. From there, it could open up new stories and feuds for him on SmackDown. Braun Strowman is a big man on WWE Friday Night SmackDown. Throughout his career, he has held several titles, including both the Universal Championship and the Raw Tag Team Championship. More importantly, he has consistently been impressive and causes chaos wherever he goes. In the WWE transfer window, both Braun and Damian Priest joined SmackDown. Since their arrival, the two have been united on more than one occasion and appear to have good chemistry together. Following Damian's loss at WrestleMania, he could look to team up with Braun full-time. Together, the duo of big men could dominate the SmackDown tag team ranks. As good as the Street Profits, DIY, Pretty Deadly, and others on the brand are, they'd be unlikely to handle the onslaught of Priest and Strowman. Jacob Fatu is one of the most unpredictable yet incredible WWE stars today. The big man is powerful and explosive, but also unbelievably athletic. He has a lot of charisma and should be a star for years to come. In many ways, Fatu is the total package. The Samoan Werewolf had an amazing WWE WrestleMania. Not only did this show mark his WrestleMania debut, but Fatu challenged for and won the United States Championship by defeating LA Knight on WrestleMania Saturday. Damian Priest losing to Drew McIntyre likely means he won't challenge for the World Heavyweight title anytime soon. Still, he could chase after the United States Championship. Priest versus Fatu in a high-profile match would be fantastic to witness. Roman Reigns is a legend and a future WWE Hall of Famer. He had one of the longest world title reigns in company history, and was the chief figure in the Bloodline saga. His influence on the company's growth can't be overstated. The Tribal Chief is another person who struggled during WWE WrestleMania 41. He battled Seth Rollins and CM Punk in a triple threat match, but ultimately came up short due to being betrayed by Paul Heyman. Now, Roman is all alone without a Wiseman to support him. If Roman has to move on and do his own thing, Damian could step up and begin a feud with the OTC. This would be dramatically different from anything either man has done, which would in turn make for some extremely interesting television. He has several years of writing experience on other platforms prior to joining Sportskeeda, where he covered pro wrestling news. On Sportskeeda, Ken does a variety of projects, but is primarily tasked with listicles, trends and features, and live coverage of WWE events. He has interviewed pro wrestling personalities on his Armbars and Sidebars project. He's spoken to both wrestlers and personalities who have been seen in World Wrestling Entertainment, Ring of Honor, TNA Wrestling, and beyond. Ken has been a fan of professional wrestling for as far back as he can remember, long before covering the industry became his profession. WrestleMania 41 has come and gone, leaving in its wake shattered dreams, iconic moments, and new roads to be forged. One man at the crossroads of destiny is none other than Damian Priest, the archer of infamy and WWE's quiet juggernaut. With his stock soaring and his presence cemented, the question now becomes, where does Damian Priest go from here? Whether he walks out of WrestleMania 41 as world champion, Money in the Bank contract holder, or a force freshly unshackled from the Judgment Day, one thing is certain: his next move could define the rest of his WWE career. Here are 4 creative directions WWE could take with Damian Priest in the wake of WrestleMania 41. If Priest is looking for a war, Gunther is the battlefield. Now that Gunther has established himself as one of the most dominant intercontinental champions in WWE history, and a main event level monster, it only makes sense for the next challenger to be someone with the size, strength, and ruthlessness to match him. Damian Priest fits that mold to perfection. This feud wouldn't need flashy promos or personal vendettas. It could be built around respect, intensity, and pure brutality. Imagine the kind of matches these two could deliver: thunderous slams, punishing strikes, and 2 warriors pushing each other to their absolute limits. In a WWE landscape that's shifting toward realism and athleticism, a feud between Gunther and Priest could become a modern-day classic, a trilogy that cements Priest's place as a top-tier competitor. If Priest wins, he becomes the man who finally put down the ring general. If he loses, he still earns respect in defeat, and perhaps something more valuable: clarity of purpose. WWE loves long-term storytelling, and few stories have been brewing more quietly than the internal tension within the Judgment Day. Damian Priest has played the role of enforcer and muscle for months, watching as Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley seized gold and power while he waited his turn. While he's tasted championship success, there's always been the sense that Priest is second fiddle, a dark knight who's grown tired of taking orders. What if WrestleMania 41 was the last straw? A post-Mania implosion of the Judgment Day could be a powerful moment. Picture this: an argument erupts backstage over leadership, missed opportunities, or betrayal. Priest, perhaps still holding the Money in the Bank briefcase or having unsuccessfully cashed in, finally snaps. He lays out Finn with a razor's edge through a table. The Purple Empire crumbles. This storyline could dominate the post-Mania season, culminating in a high-stakes match at SummerSlam. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in a no-disqualification match. Judgment Day's fate hanging in the balance. It's drama. It's violence. It's character evolution. And most importantly, it's Priest finally becoming his own man. Let's dream big. Assuming Cody Rhodes retains the undisputed WWE Championship following WrestleMania 41, who's next to challenge the American Nightmare? The crowd loves him. His story's complete. Now he needs monsters to slay. Enter Damian Priest. No longer shackled by Judgment Day politics, Priest could set his sights on Cody. Not out of hatred, but out of ambition. He wants what Cody has: the gold, the spotlight, the throne. This story writes itself. Cody is the hero. Priest is the shadow. While Cody speaks of legacy and destiny, Priest speaks of justice and inevitability. I waited. I bled. I watched. Now it's my turn. WWE could take its time with this feud, stretching it from Money in the Bank through Survivor Series. The promos would be fire. The matches? Epic. And the stakes? Everything. And if Priest dethrones Cody in shocking fashion, WWE has its next main event villain. If Cody prevails, Priest still walks away as a made man, capable of standing toe-to-toe with the face of the company. Here's a different, more emotional path. Let's say Damian Priest fails at WrestleMania 41. Maybe he cashes in Money in the Bank and loses. Maybe he's betrayed by the Judgment Day. Maybe he's simply defeated and lost in the shuffle. Rather than push him immediately into another title scene, WWE could pivot into something deeper, a slow burn redemption arc. Imagine a post-WrestleMania priest who's broken, a lone wolf wandering backstage, doubting himself. Former allies turn their backs. The audience doesn't know what to make of him until he finds something or someone to fight for again. This path could bring unexpected alliances. What if someone like Sami Zayn or Drew McIntyre tries to help Priest find his way again? Or what if an NXT call-up like Ilja Dragunov becomes his unlikely rival turned partner? Over time, the Archer of Infamy could become a more complex figure. Not a villain, not a hero, just a man trying to reclaim his soul and his spot. The crowd slowly starts to get behind him. The promos become more personal. The matches grow more desperate. And eventually, after months of rebuilding, he earns a shot at redemption. Maybe at WrestleMania 42. Because sometimes, the best characters fall before they rise.